The impact AI on the job market. A report by the International Monetary Fund predicts that 40% of jobs will be affected by the growth of AI and AI-based tools. Half of that would be a negative impact, making employees perhaps redundant, and the other half could actually help boost productivity and efficiency, according to that IMF report. The report also predicts that labor markets in emerging or developing economies, and this is of specific interest to countries like India, may have a lesser impact and may actually benefit from enhanced efficiency of AI-driven tools. The IMF director, Kristalina Georgieva, said that 60% jobs in advanced countries will be affected. She also emphasized that there is an enormous potential for enhancement of efficiency and growth due to artificial intelligence. So the impact on our bread and butter, literally, if you're not interested on this, of AI, and that is the special focus this evening. Joining me on the show, a bunch of fascinating minds working at the cutting edge of technology, starting with Manoj Parmar, CEO of AI Shield, Subhi Chaturvedi, Senior Vice President of the InMobi Group. We also hope to be joined by Advocate Viraj Gupta and Sandeep Goel, Founder and Director of UniCloud AI. But for the moment, we also have with us Ankush Sabharwal, Founder and CEO of CoRoba. My first question to you, Manoj Parmar, when you say 40% of jobs are going to be affected, who are the ones who are going to lose their jobs the most? And I'm asking, what do you think of television anchors, for an aside on that?
Thanks for asking that question. I think I would bring in one of the story that last month, there was a news which was completely generated by the AI, as well as it was telecasted with a deep fake AI as well. So I just want to say that all the jobs will be impacted. The question would be, how are we going to navigate this? And I believe in the positive aspect. So AI is going to be inevitable, and there is no doubt about it. The question is, how are we going to navigate it? And when we say that we have to navigate, especially the report which you mentioned says clearly that the emerging countries like us will greatly benefit. And this is a very interesting aspect because historically, people were telling that the AI will take the job from the low end. However, what we have seen in the last 2 to 3 years, that the AI is taking the jobs of knowledge workers, and not anyone, but at top of the one, like creative ones, marketing and other places. So as famous saying goes, it's not that the AI which is going to take your job, it is the people who are going to use AI who is going to take your job. So the earlier and faster that we start adopting the AI and start seeing those benefits, I'm very hopeful that we will enter into the new era, which will be the AI-powered efficiencies. We have seen this historically with the Industrial Revolution. Everyone was worried about what will happen with respect to their jobs. But net, after 200 years, what we see is that it's only pushed us forward. So I'm hopeful that AI in the short term will change the dynamics of the way.
You're hopeful, Manoj, but the consequence of how this plays out, there would be different viewpoints on the consequence of what this may or what the human toll is going to be. Subhi, is there going to be a transition process which is going to be very difficult? Maybe as experts and people at the curb and the cutting edge of technology, you all may understand it very well, but what about the common person? What's going to be the impact on them? For lakhs of people out there who are just going to build their careers, you believe there's going to be a transition phase that's going to have a huge human cost as well?
So thank you for the question. I think we're at the cusp of a very, very important tipping point. As leaders meet at the WEF, we need to understand that their outlook is not country specific. They talk about global economies. So we're seeing that in the US and UK, where technology is high impact and the cost of labor is higher, they have a real cause for concern. We also have to put this in context and understand that the global market size by 2030 is going to be about $2,000 billion for AI alone. And when we're looking at India and China, it's going to be higher than their combined economic outlook. So you're looking at about $15.7 trillion contribution to the global economy where the Indian economy alone will look at about 11,781 million by 2025. Those are the numbers. Now let's look at the people impact. So you're absolutely right when you say that how prepared are we? What is it that we need to do? It's a bit like the electric car story where we had questions around charging stations and then the balance between climate change. How is it that developing countries and emerging economies will deal with change, progress, technology? The good news here is that we've got culture, content, creativity. We've got a huge bunch of engineers. How do we now very quickly take this to the new education policy? How are we training the trainers? So IITNs, institutions of eminence, were always looking at very large machine learning models. When AI came in, and especially with ChatGPT, you got a user interface which said not just the tech, the geek or the coder, but you and I, every person on the street and every single business, every process will get impacted. So even when we lead the IMF chief's op-ed and blog, where she summarizes the report, she's saying that high skill jobs like surgeons, like judges, like lawyers will be able to use this really well. Now let's look at down the line processes. So I see
Is
AI
that what
as...
it is? Sorry, Surabhi, I just have to interfere. I just have to interfere at that point, what you're speaking about in terms of high skill jobs. Sandeep Goel, in a larger sense, is it going to be skill based? Or are we going to look at it sector based?
So I
because
just want
at
to
the
complete,
moment we are talking of several.
Before you go to Sandeep, I just wanted to complete one point here, that we need to understand that this, in the context of India, means a huge set of opportunity where you're looking at transformation and transition. And this is where upskilling, reskilling, looking at newer labels like AI development, maintenance, data.
Okay, I get it. Subhi, I just need to go to Sandeep now. I'd like to hear another point of view before we get back on this whole conversation. Sandeep, we are talking of skills. Are we looking at sector specific? Because you see, much of the news, and I'm talking from a layperson's point of view, much of the news we say is that Google has fired so many people because of AI. Paytm has fired so many people. It could be because of AI. Tech majors are really laying off people because of AI. Is this sector specific, or are we seeing the impact of AI and layoffs across sectors? How do we decode that to the common population?
So, in my point of view, AI is going to touch every life, not just the sector. Right? Now, from job perspective, this is not limited to any sector, but it is more oriented towards the skill. So if the skill is where it is, more robotic or monotonous, AI can simply replace it, yes. But at the same point of time, what is the underlying driver for AI? It's actually to improve the productivity. Whether you look at the content writer skill set, whether you look at the image creations, then all other innovation that has been done, it's about productivity and give better to the workers out here. I think the challenge is not. I don't see these numbers which IM chief has bounced around 40% or whatever is not even an estimate. It's probably just a guesstimate, right? So I wouldn't worry about those numbers as yet. But the important point is that while there will be jobs impacted from a perspective that is going to increase the productivity, but at the same point of time is going to create the opportunities, right? So today AI needs a prompt engineering there, right? Which is a new skill set being created. So we need to worry about how are we going to upskill ourselves as a country so that when the AI presents opportunity, we are able to grab those opportunities. That's a real question rather than worrying about the job.
That's exactly the point that Subhi was making a little earlier as well.
Correct. And if you give you a very classic example.
You see,
so just quick example.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting all you panelists because the one thing AI can't do is give me more time. You see, we have just very limited amount of time within which we need to have this conversation, and I need to bring another element to it. As you're speaking of worry about jobs, the other worry is also the one with deep fakes, right? Today, Sachin Tendulkar was the latest victim of a deepfake video which was used for an app marketing that was put out. And we need to send out a disclaimer to all the viewers that we are not deepfakes but real people talking here. At least I hope none of you have sent a deepfake over to join this conversation. But Ankush Sabharwal, the kind of challenges that seem to be coming up, it's on the one side is the jobs. B, on the other side, is how you're going to redefine yourself, both in terms of your skill set and your ability to contend with possibly a very new universe. Do you believe there is going to be a transition process? And as far as India is concerned, what would you believe is the key challenge that we're going to face? Quickly.
Sure. No, I absolutely agree with Sandeep, right? So I think we as a country, or even we as individual, we have to see what skills we have, and let's try to see how we can upskill that. So if I give you Indian statistics, 60% technical graduates in India are unemployed. I think I would not be too wrong saying they are not employable, right? Just coming out of the college. And out of those, only 5.5% tech graduates have programming skills. Now, programming is being taught in school level, and I think in almost all engineering, right? And out of that, only 2.5% engineers have some AI knowledge. I think the macro pictures and that fine. I think let's see about us, about individuals. And we in India, I think we are in the right time, and I think who can actually create AI products other than India. As we know, data is a raw material for any AI platform, and we, with being with the virtue of the highest population, we generate data by just living life. We as individuals, or even we as organizations, data is being generated. I think let's leverage the technology which we already have. Let's leverage the data. Try to create the use cases. I think I was just in Kerala Literature Festival yesterday. I was just requesting everyone, come up with a use case, come up with the problem solving with the existing technology, existing data, enough technology. So I think we would be the AI nation if we all start thinking about using AI, solving some real problems for the society.
Okay. Solving some real problems for the society. I literally have 20 seconds each to my panelists, starting with you, Manoj. As we go forward, what do you believe is going to be the crucial challenge, and in terms of building an inclusively forward-moving society with the impact of AI? You have a large labor force. What's going to be the critical challenge in ensuring that humans don't suffer in the advent of AI and technology, which is being spearheaded by people like yourself? Quickly, 20 seconds.
Yes, so the most important point is going to be the safety and security of the AI. Otherwise, the masses will suffer a lot, and that will also slow down the adoption. Today's deepfake is one of the example, and this year we are going to see many more, because across the globe, 3 billion people are going to vote this year. This is the year of an election across the globe, and the perception warfare with respect to misinformation and disinformation is only going to start now. So we need to ensure that the security and safety of the AI is at the foremost, no matter which kind of any use case that we are dealing with. That's all from my side.
Subi, your response.
Thank you. I think the most important core priority has to be trust. A trustworthy, responsible, innovative AI ecosystem is what we're looking at. You mentioned deepfakes, so very, very crucial to mention that both the ministers have taken cognizance. It has to be a mix of responsible development from private sector, from tech, and it has to be a community-oriented approach with a policy ecosystem that allows for innovation, disruption, and yet gives you a predictable policy environment with regulatory sandboxes. You cannot put the cart before the horse, and that's where
last word, Sandeep Goyal. I'm sorry, Subi.
Is important. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Subi. It's 20 seconds and that's it. Sandeep Goyal, last word.
So basically, I will give the example when the computerization happened and LIC introduced, there was a strike, right? But when computers came in, data entry as a jobs were created as an example. So AI is going to create a lot of opportunities, including the example of deepfake that you're giving requires a lot of work, how to stop that, right? So we need to think about it and grab those opportunities.
Right. Right. Ankush, 10 seconds. Literally.
Yes. So I think we should stop worrying too much about AI. Think selfishly about yourself and adopt AI to whatever we are doing, whatever domain we are in, whatever sector we are in. Adopt AI to make your job efficient.
Okay, think selflessly. Let's hope the robot and AI also starts thinking selflessly for itself. But thank you all for joining us.